Hello everybody, this is SF Scala and I'm the organizer, Alexy Khrabrov. We're here on location at Nitro for a great meetup following Scala Days. At Scala Days, everybody from around the world comes to San Francisco this year, and we have with us here Andy Petrella, the author of Spark Notebook, early adopter of Play and other great Scala goodies, and he just did an amazing talk about Spark Notebook with a lot of graphics, GraphX, GitHub mining, Euro exchanges, and all of this is available on Functional TV alongside this Q&A. So we're gonna first welcome Andy. It's great to have you. I know you're jet lagged. Your laptop shows 5 a.m. So we really appreciate that after a whole day of Spark training, you came and gave us a great talk, and you still have a few minutes to answer some questions.
No
So when Play became popular, I've seen some blog posts from you. You were trying it out. I think you did it on Heroku. As well, and now you're an early adopter of Spark, and you really do amazing things. You bring up some Docker instances, and you use Kafka and Akka, and like you really know a lot of aspects of the Scala ecosystem. How did you become interested in Scala, and how did you become so proficient in all aspects of the system?
Yeah, actually, 3 years ago, I started my company, and at that time it was a startup at that time, though. So we wanted to create a tool for data mining, mainly in the building environment. So for construction and so on. So in order to organize the work in the construction. So at that time, I had to pick up some technologies to create these tools. And so when I did the the overview of what was available at that time, I knew already some Scala. I saw these Play frameworks slowly raising. It was not there yet. It was not even in alpha nor in beta. It's just something there that had to compile. I picked it up and I believed directly in it because it was something quite amazing. It was just there, and it ran fine. So also I picked up some other things like Neo4j, other stuff like this.
Did you know any Nexity guys? Did you find it socially, or did you just find it by yourself?
By myself at that time, because there were not that many documentation on Scala things in general at that time, right? 3 or 4 years ago, I had to read the EPFL papers in order to get some some insight into the monad and I remember having read the reader monad out of a APFL paper at that time because I didn't knew that much Haskell. And then you have to move to Haskell at some point in time when you do Scala, apparently.
The Haskelator, that's right.
Huh?
The Haskelator.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so I picked a lot of different technologies at that time. Then the startup went down, and I keep up looking for new technologies. And then I discovered Apache Spark quite soon, around maybe 2 years and a half already now. And I created also some blogs about it, just to show what we can do with that. And that's mainly it. Now I'm going to create another startup, and I don't know which new platform I will use.
That's great. So I mean, that's like the stuff you can do is really impressive, and it shows like the whole different aspects. So so why Spark? Why big data? Why Kafka? Why all this ecosystem?
Yeah. So why big data, or mainly why distributed computing? Because big data is like a bad word to me.
True.
So why distributed computing? But in a case, in some sense, actually, I wanted to do some data analysis, right? So because I have a background in mathematics, and the project I wanted to have had to be on mathematics. And since we enter the world where the data cannot fit into a single machine, I had to choose a model that has to run onto this data, and of course, it was the distributed computing. So why Spark? Because I didn't want it to do Hadoop. So I looked for something else than Hadoop. Scaling was not enough. And then, the model that Spark proposed you with this memory caching and these lazy computations and so on was very attracting. And then I picked it up.
Yeah. So do you think that Spark is the future of distributed computing? Is this where we're gonna all
Yeah.
end up?
To me, yeah. Actually, the thing is that new technologies new kids on the block generally has to bring something disruptive in order to be the new one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Spark comes with this three main features. First is the reactive, the interactive programming using the REPL or
Mm-hmm.
tools like notebooks. The second one is the cache
Mm-hmm.
integration, and the third is the API,
Mm-hmm.
of course. So with these three items, they are farther than Hadoop, and Hadoop cannot they just cannot keep up and reach them back. So that's why Spark is very interesting, and that's why also why I think that Spark will stay there.
Mm-hmm.
Other thing is that they integrate quite well with different languages. Is also interesting, of course. Okay, so I think Spark will be there at least for 5 to 10 years, as being the very cool thing in the block and the way to go before it enters the mainstream area,
Mm-hmm.
like Hadoop is right now. So IBM can sell it. Maybe the next thing. What will be the next thing, or in my opinion, what can be the next thing? It's most probably the distributed databases.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at Cassandra or you look at Rayak, I mean, these guys are there to manage data from the ground.
Yes.
So they are just there to manage data, right? And this is basically what the distributed data processing framework is doing, manipulate data.
Mm-hmm.
But it's doing it at the middle level when the data has been stored somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Although Rayak and Cassandra can store the data in a very efficient manner, replicate it, and so on. And also, if you look at Rayak, it can also process the data
Mm-hmm.
within the nodes. So actually, you are not that far from something like Spark.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's something that might be come with a new set of features that maybe Spark hasn't. Although Spark plus Tachyon is also a good fit.
I think it's a good point. So I've seen a few new things come. So there is something called FaunaDB, which is a new object data store from folks at Twitter, right? So I think I've just heard about it recently. It looks like people are doing something similar because Spark has an object model. So the difference with the file system that you have the storage, but you also have object model. So you're talking in terms of RDDs, right? So if you have persistent RDDs which are stored in the database and you don't need to deserialize them, right? Then you will have something really convenient.
Yeah, exactly.
So hopefully we're getting, and I think that Databricks is gonna read our Parquet files loaded into memory directly with the data frames, right? And that's probably will simplify this processing a lot.
Indeed.
So what pain points do you experience right now with Spark and Kafka and Scala ecosystem? What is most difficult for you? If there is anything which kind of comes to mind.
There is nothing really difficult with that because when I worked with Hadoop and Storm, there were some pain points for sure, and then Spark cleared them, almost all of them. The thing which is a bit boring sometimes to solve is this serialization problem that happens time to time.
Yes.
And actually, it's not really the fault of Spark. It's a great feature that Spark brings to the table, and it has drawbacks because actually at some point you can include some stuff that are coming from somewhere and you didn't knew it, and then you have to hunt it until you find it. So you have to enable some weird parameters in the JVM. That's the thing that they dislike the most. I mean, it's not really a Spark problem; it's a more general problem.
The ecosystem.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the main point. The other points, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It works quite good. I have no real issue with that.
Cool. So this is a rare occurrence when a lot of folks from Europe are coming to visit us, and I know you mostly work with European customers. So I'm wondering, what is the state there? Because we live in a bubble here. We think everything starts here, and ends here. How does European industry differ? What patterns do you see working with European customers? How big is Scala adoption? How big is Spark adoption? If you kind of characterize this broadly, how you see it?
Maybe I can talk for the Central Europe, where I have several projects in France, Italy, and London, and Belgium, of course. I think that Scala has a second how to say a second slope. It's raises again. The first time it was thanks to Play Framework.
Yes.
Scala was wasn't that much known. Then Play Framework arrived, and then a lot of people came into it and was able to deliver some web applications in a very short time because of this lifetime. Now it starts to be a bit flat, so no more people are interested in, or new people are coming in, because now there is this Spring thing, the Spring Boot, that can do something like this. So Java people are staying away from Play, but Spark comes with this interesting API in a world where distributed computing is very busy. So a lot of other people are coming into the game. So at that time, at the time of Play, it was the web developer, and now we have the data scientists are interested in Scala, or forced to do Scala.
Yes.
I don't know if
or both.
or both. Yes. So yeah, the Scala is rising. So in Europe, we can see it, that now the meetup are a bit more or a bit less empty. So before it was like we were like 5 to 10. Now we can go up to 30 at some point in time, depending on the subject. The last time when I was given the Spark talk with Gérard Mast, we were like 50 or something. It was amazing in Belgium. 50 in Belgium, it's like the half the population, right?
Yes, that's right.
So it was quite interesting. So the big data
These
is
50 are French speaking, and the other 50
I must say maybe 80% were Dutch speaking, and the other was German speaking.
Nice.
No, the rest were simply German and French and other. So yeah, this distributed computing or big data in general is attracting a lot of people, but the market has some hiccup to start, I must say. I live myself in a bubble because we are not that many in Europe knowing very well Spark and so on, or distributed computing. So I'm caught in different places to explain how to do distributed computing or distributed architecture, but I don't know how the others are doing. I think it's evolving in a good way.
That's great to know. That's great to know. And in August we have a Big Data Scala conference with 2 major themes: end-to-end data pipelines and data science on the JVM. And actually, that brings me kind of to the second point, because you're a mathematician. You're anti-Petrella spell with a natural number set, right? Which NP, which as a mathematician, related people, can appreciate. I think there is this huge task before the Scala community to bring data scientists onto the Scala platform, right? Because what we can do with Spark is definitely beyond reach of Python or R, and we can be more efficient, right? And we can be as concise and so forth. The question is, we know we can have beautiful DSLs, we can have efficiency, but most of the data scientists are brought up on Python and R. They like their tools. So I wonder, what's your take on this? How can we enable them? How can we help them to move to Scala? And what should we do as Scala community, as Spark community, to help general data scientists to come to Scala?
Yeah. About that, what misses Scala, for instance, what they are missing the most is visualization, right? If you are proficient with R or Python or even Julia or MATLAB and things like these,
Mm-hmm.
you have all the plot libraries at your ability in order to have to make very easily representation of your data, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Scala, it's still hard to have it. Okay. If the Spark notebook, for instance, we have some, but still you don't have the fancy box plotted or box plot or the funnel or all these things that you can have quite easily with ggplot2, but quite easily between codes. Using ggplot2 or other Python libraries like maybe matplotlib or things like this.
Mm-hmm.
So when they enter the Scala world, they say, okay, man, I can print to the console. Really, it's not really what I want to do.
Right.
Then the other thing that we might have to do, and actually we started in Belgium, is to pick these guys at the university directly.
Mm-hmm.
Because in university they're already doing a lot of Python.
Mm-hmm.
Everything related to data science nowadays is Python.
Correct.
So that's why with my associate we took some students and we started learning them Scala and Spark already.
Mm-hmm.
At the very start, and they start learning them because then they are not biased by I don't know, Java, Python, R, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Although it's still very interesting to know R, Julia, or Python beside, because there are so many models already implemented in there. So
Mm-hmm.
at least to build your expertise in modeling and machine learning stuff, so you have to go there. You have to go there, otherwise you won't have all the different models you can imagine implement into Scala.
Right.
And the other thing regarding that, maybe we can show them the programming probabilistic programming book.
Mm-hmm.
I must say that this book is very good one and shows how you could use Scala and its type system and the monad, even though it doesn't say about the monad, how you can use it to construct very elaborated models using probabilities.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, this is something that you cannot do with all the other languages because they don't have this kind of types and function with strongly typed and these monad structures. So it's a very good one. It's a very good book that I would recommend to all the data scientists nowadays.
Who are the authors? Who are the authors of this book?
I can remember.
Okay.
It's a manic book.
Uh-huh.
I can remember exactly. It's probabilistic programming. It's F. Neman. I can remember.
Okay,
exactly.
we'll figure it out and we'll add the link to this episode so you guys can.
The library is Figaro. That's all I know.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's great
names.
to know.
Yeah,
that's great to know. That's. I think I agree with you. We need to kind of fill in the gaps, right? And we can certainly learn from R and Python, but there's a lot of Scala developers, so we can just identify what are the problems and kind of implement the necessary things.
exactly. Yeah, agreed.
Great. Well, this was very interesting. So thank you very much for visiting us, and we'll definitely follow your progress and hope to see you here, or some of our future events. And thank you very much.
Thank you for the invitation.